All right. So for our last speaker is Jessica, managing partner of INP Capital. There we go. All right, Jessica. So let's bring it home with your journey with INP and your career in investment.
So my name is Jessica Wang. I'm the CMO and managing partner at INP Capital. Just a bit of my background. I've actually started my career in the secondary market. I was the regional sales manager for Franklin Templeton, the big mutual fund company. Then after over 10 years, and as I was working more and more with institutional investors, what we call in the industry the smart money. I realized that more and more of them are going into private equity, early stage, especially as there's tremendous value to be uncovered. And that's how INP came to being. We're a boutique VC firm based out of Vancouver with offices and partners globally, uncovering opportunities in North America, Australia, China, Southeast Asia, and the UK. And it's funny how this whole global network came to place. Basically, because we have partners located in 3 different continents, and right now, like especially during COVID, every team meeting we've been had, it's been over 4 different time zones. So it's a truly amazing experience. So there you go. Oh, I can control it now. So our mission and passion had always been in innovation. We want to invest into talents and technologies that would be part of the big force shaping our future. And basically, we're looking for things that could change the way we live, we work, we learn, and entertain. In short, we're here to find unicorns at early stage before they emerge. And here's a map of a global, we call epicenter of innovation. And the marked locations are where we have eyes on the ground. Our approach is to go where the ground is ripe and actively engage in local innovation ecosystem to find our top seeds. So why do we aim for unicorns? Because this is the one area where it could deliver exponential, 10 times, 100 times or more return. Of course, in usual circumstances, the probability of hitting one of those unicorns are very low, thereby normalizing that risk-adjusted return. So, for example, if you just throw a dart, say the chance of hitting one of those unicorns are 1 in 1,000. That way, even if the exit return is 1,000 times, your risk-adjusted return are essentially none. But with our strength in global deal source and our experience and understanding of focus industries, we figure we could significantly increase that chance, say to 1 in 10 or even 1 in 5, which is what we're currently striving at. And that would result in extraordinary return with relatively small amount you need to begin with. So we're not looking to, so we don't need to raise that $1 billion fund like the Vision, the SoftBank's fund. We only need a few million in the beginning to get us to that $1 billion mark. So that's our style. We call it the precision VC investing. So our methodology consists of 3 parts. First, top down. So identify the trend globally and to see which sectors, which regions have those success factors. And then we do our bottom up, screening through our deal flows, particularly in those sectors that we identified. And lastly, we're very active investors. We provide input and help align resources. So all to help increase that chance of success of our portfolio companies. So today I was asked to share some of our stories, but because we've had such a concentrated portfolio and we're so close to the founders and we continue to work with all of them, that if I refer to any specific situation, even if I don't name names, I'm pretty sure they're gonna know. But fortunately, I think what would be really useful, in our case, is the pattern of what we have learned, because that's essentially, what will define our own future success. So I'll share that. So at first, we were attracted to the technology. I think this is very common for investors and founders who just entered that high-tech arena. You see the seismic shift in the industry, and you see all the possibilities in the future, and you're so excited. But then, over the years, we've come to realize that as much as having a unique leading technology is important, the more critical factor is always the people. And this is what we call, the Peep. Like number one, perspective. Does the leadership have a high enough perspective? Do they have a true understanding of industry pain points and areas of disruption? Do they have the foresight, into the trends and see what it takes to be a game changer? Are they ambitious enough? And execution. What's the team dynamic? Do they have the aggressive, quick starters for BD, for business development, and the strong follow through? Do they have that all round strategic top-down view person? Adaptability. How tuned in are they about all the major players in the industry? So competitors' moves. How quickly do they adapt to changes and reiterate themselves? Past year was a great example that shows the true color of the teams. When hit with a travel ban and physical contact is impossible, do you just wait till the storm passes? Or do you immediately re-examine your business model and identify your danger, opportunities, and strength? And perseverance. Obviously, I need to say no more about that. We've seen founders who met a great deal of difficulties and adversities, but the ones with grit, the ones that's always looking for ways to come back and give it their all. You know that they eventually will succeed. Maybe not even in this venture, but in the next, they'll find their way. So, but for a great team, with great technology to truly become exceptional, they need to be in the right place at the right time. So you need to be close to that sort of Goldilocks condition, where you have a big enough market that's ready for mass scale adoption. You need to have infrastructure that enables that mass scale adoption. And you need to have capital market that has smelled the opportunities and activities are increasing. So those are all, important factors that would make magic happen. And that's where we realize, our biggest strength is our global reach and our perspective, because different demographics, economic growth, and capital market maturity, and all those different factors, all regions are not the same. And if you actually have that perspective, if you dig deep into a trend of success of industry in one region, say China or the US, and understand the key contributors and catalysts to that success, then it's easier to look around and see where might be the next most likely place for that success strategy to be duplicated. For example, last year we saw the explosive growth of and mainly because of COVID, the growth of grocery and produce e-commerce in China, with huge companies and capital joining the race. And that had led us identifying and investing into Grub Market. It's a California-based farm-to-table e-commerce platform, as well as a software provider. Another sector, telehealth, is another sector that has really taken off here in North America throughout, the COVID obviously being a huge catalyst. Well, in addition to screening local companies, we were actually also looking at Southeast Asia as their population base, their healthcare needs, and the prevalence of mobile phones made it ideal grounds for the next wave of telehealth innovation. So we have just made an investment into a Malaysian, Singapore-based telehealth company that work with group insurance companies and multinational corporations to provide chronic illness management and wellness programs. But investing in out unicorns take time. So from early stage to successful, they scaling up to gaining market dominance, it takes on average 8 to 10 years. And as you grow bigger, there'll be more real world issues that threaten the growth trajectory. So we hold our conviction, and we gotta be very patient. But meanwhile, we stay very close to founders when they need to jump through hoops, or when they need to make that strategic moves at crossroads. Well, the good news is that we're now deep into this digital revolution, and the change is rapid, and the cycle of unicorn emergence is actually becoming shorter, and that definitely bodes well for us. And lastly, the famous quote, "Stay hungry, stay foolish." This is something we look for in founders, but more importantly, it's a culture that we instill first and foremost, throughout our own firm, because in order to invest our successful companies, we ourselves, as investors, we must possess those qualities that you're looking for, to be a team that's always hungry for learning and growth opportunities. Because once you have those qualities, once you think you work and you wake up that way, and when you see one, you'll know. So here's a few of our success stories. Specifically, Apply Board. That was actually 2020's Canadian Unicorn of the year. And I don't want to go through much details, but the common theme here is that they all have, they all have, vast market, at least $1 billion. And in the case of Grub Market, $1 trillion market that's going through rapid change of digitization. And number two, there's no established new tech giant in their industry yet. So, which means there's more room for market leaders, even multiple ones, to emerge. And lastly, they all have a team that's visionary and relentless, and they're just always running. For example, I just saw Grub Market's CEO Mike said on his LinkedIn that their goal is to reach annual revenue of 100 billion. Right now they're at 1 billion, which is already very good, considering where they have come from. But that is the kind of conviction and the kind of ambition, and you know what? Like knowing him and his team, we're confident they'll get there. well, good thing he didn't say how long, but I think we're very confident that they'll get there. So
All
lastly,
right, Jessica.
sorry.
Sorry, Jessica. We've got to be mindful of time. We've got a few minutes left here.
Oh, all right. Yeah.
Do you have
no,
one more thing to?
I'm
We get
done.
some questions in.
Oh
All
yeah,
right,
sure.
perfect.
So this is some of the companies that we've invested, and I'll just show one more slides. And these are some of the sectors that we are currently focused on. So if anybody is interested, obviously we'll engage in a longer conversation some other time. But thank you.
Perfect. So first question, I'll get right into it, is when INP makes an investment, do they join the board or the organization in some capacity? And how regularly do you speak to the founders? Because you say you're very close to the founders. Is it monthly to get milestone updates, or is it quarterly? So two questions there. Do you guys join the board? And the second one is, how often do you conduct engagement with the founders?
Yes, we do join the board if we're welcomed, and we do try to. In fact, we have joined multiple boards, and we have been sort of key to the success and reiteration of many of the companies that we invested in. So, and the second question is how often? Well, there's a joke, like we want to be the first person the founders call when they face a problem, and then in fact we almost are. Some of our PMs, like I remember this when we first invested in Apply Board, and then it actually shows how hard the founder works and thinks and how 24/7. Like the founder would call, and they would be there 11 o'clock, and they would be, our partner Jackie in China, it would be like her 5 o'clock in the morning, but they'll have that conversation, and we're always there.
Question from Matt. Did you have a hard time having LPs buy into the long-term vision of 8 to 10 years before unicorns are created? Or do you have a strong enough history that it was really easy to sell that to LPs to say, that's fine, we know what you guys do, we'll just give you guys the money?
Well, it's never that easy. So, honestly, when we first started, it was partners' own money, and it's largely because for us, we're a startup too, so it's largely family and friends money who really believe in us, and they saw our conviction, and we're very lucky that they've supported us along the way. And as we started to have some performance to show for it, as we started actually investing out unicorns, as we started having exits, I think that really will obviously boost the confidence. And as Randy said, it's important to have exits. Once you have a successful exit, then LPs have more confidence and also the money, to be entrusting in you.
And one last question on a personal note: how did you fall into this industry in the world of investment?
Well, it's innovation. It's really like I think all of the partners, the original partners, we had sort of one drive. We wanted to be part of something great. We've all had our successful corporate career where everything was good. Maybe it made money, but it always felt that there was something missing. And then so to me, venture capital really is that great outlet, because Even though, I myself, I'm not of any technical background, but I'm number one, I'm always curious, I'm always willing to learn. And then number two, through this learning experience, we actually got to be part of many companies that turned out to be great companies. And wouldn't anybody want that, to be that part of legacy? And that's what we tell our LPs, right? Like, we don't need $1 million from you. It's, let's say, 100,000, 200,000, right? And like, our small seed could get you the future Google, Airbnb, and wouldn't that be something great to tell your grandchildren?
Perfect. Thank you very much, Jessica. Colin, last words from you.
So, Jessica, thank you so much for sharing your story there and bringing us up to speed on what you're doing with INP. I was not aware of what you're doing on a global basis, and it is impactful and impressive. So what I love about this event tonight is the diversity and the richness of the storytelling that we've had here. And that has been fantastic. And Bhavik, you have knocked it out of the park. You have no choice now. You're going to be the official MC for every event. You don't have a choice. You've just been voluntold. So, well, maybe not. But I think with this one, this has to be at least an annual event now, that the investor stories are just amazing. And this is, once again, why we do these events, is to connect people to each other, to make everybody feel welcome and add that human side to everybody's journey. And investors are no different than entrepreneurs and everybody else. You all have hopes, dreams, and fears and aspirations, and you've all shared those with you tonight. And you've been very open and honest with that. And that takes a lot of courage and vulnerability to do that. And I thank you all for that. So with that, I want to thank everybody for attending tonight. As I mentioned at the beginning, at the top of the show, our next Can Startup Stories will be in the middle of July, and that will be celebrating Black entrepreneurs. So looking forward to that event again. And as I mentioned, we're going to keep rolling with the events, with the virtual ones for the rest of the year. And hopefully we will get back to in-person events very soon, maybe late 2021 or early next year. And as everybody's had a drink in their hand here for this virtual event, I'm really hoping that we can do Van Startup Stories once a month again, first Wednesday of every month, and get to see all of you that are in the Vancouver area to come and join us for that. But in the meantime, we can connect on a national level like we have here this evening. And as I said, we will be posting this recording on our YouTube channel early next week. So again, Bhavik, thank you so much. Our 5 speakers, amazing, with gratitude. I want to thank you again. And Bhavik, you have any last words? And we'll wrap it up here tonight, my friend.
No, I just want to thank the speakers who were inspirational, and hopefully everyone got a lot out of this. I know I did, for sure, hearing the stories and learning new things about everyone that spoke today as well. So great event, and thank you for everyone.
Wonderful. Everybody, have a great night. Take care. Bye for now.